Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today I'm going to talk about what exactly is holding up the hostage negotiations. And I'm going to talk about something that could possibly save them. So, we all know that this war is probably different from other wars in Gaza because it's not really for the sake of Israel. Like, usually it's actually for the sake of Israel. This time it's not. It's just to preserve this confusion period for Bibi Netanyahu so that he has more time to plan an escape um, from the political prison and indictments and arrests that people are going to make after him because he didn't just mess up with the Palestinians. The Israelis don't like him either because he tried to do this very corrupt thing of literally trying to pass a law that would really undermine their judiciary system, which basically says, the judicial branch in every government is the one that says whether you're doing something corrupt or not. So he was like, let's try to shut them up. So people were already protesting and everything. It was fake unity before. But now, the hostage negotiations are, of course, going to have to pass through him. If they say something that he doesn't like, he can easily, he's a prime minister, he was the elected prime minister, he can easily just say no. So this thing of trying to save yourself and sacrificing a country for it, that is what's stopping the hostage negotiations, if you want to know. That aspect of it is. But there are other things that are really, I want to say, blundering it. They're extending it, and they're kind of prodding at its success. I'm going to talk about a few of those things, specifically three. The first one of those things is not addressing each other's non negotiables. So, Hamas has actually addressed the non negotiables by giving them clearly. Okay? He has clearly said, not he, they're a whole organization, but they have clearly said they want a couple of things. They want a permanent ceasefire. They want the hostages from Israeli prisons to be released because, I mean, Hamas arbitrarily took hostages on October the 7th, and they just did it collectively on one day. Israel's been doing that for so long, and they've taken literally thousands of them. So they're just saying, hey, if we're going to give you back the ones that we took wrongfully, according to international law, then you give us back ours, right? Okay? Um, so those are two things. And then another thing they want is the right of return, where basically people who are displaced from previous wars into, Lebanon, etc., anywhere, Jordan, even Egypt, let them come back to their homes. Some of them still keep the key. Like, they have hope. Okay. Another thing that they want are is the flow of aid to resume. Well, look how much they care about their people. That's a non-negotiable for them. Yeah, those are a couple of their non-negotiables, and they have even been willing to kind of extend that and gradually incorporate their non-negotiables. As for Israel, they have not even said one non-negotiable. They keep switching around and shuffling just because they're trying to extend the hostage negotiations. It's like they don't even coherently know what they want. Rather, they don't know what they need. Okay? At one point, they were ready to do this weird exchange that didn't even involve the hostages. Okay? Then they realized how dumb that was, so they came back and they were like, yeah, we want the hostages and we'll give you a temporary 6 week ceasefire. They're basically very incoherent, and their thought process is pretty inarticulate because they're not able to get a rational point across. They keep switching priorities. One day it's the hostages, one day it's getting the Hamas leaders out of Gaza. It keeps switching around, and that's messing up hostage negotiations primarily. The second detail that they're missing is the Islamic way of dealing with negotiations, specifically hostage negotiations. Now, am I expecting them to refer to Islamic texts to learn how to do hostage negotiations? Absolutely not. Islam is simple. It just makes wisdom and wise ways imperative. It's basically Al Hakim, which is God, the most wise, telling us and ordering us to do wise things. Okay, he spoons feeds us what's wise and what's not. And so, um, the thing about Israel is I'm not expecting them to do it with some intention of being Islamic, but they should understand what's wise for them. And the way Islamic negotiations in war work are the lower side should put out strength, okay? And they should basically, just like I said, how Hamas should basically have some non negotiables, and to make it work, they should not have crazy non negotiables. They should instead have non negotiables and then have a bunch of negotiables that they can keep cutting down or increasing, cutting down, increasing based on, the atmosphere. Then, um, the stronger side, which would be Israel in this case, it's a fourth generation style war. So Israel is the state versus non state actor. The state is obviously more powerful, especially because it's backed by America. Um, Israel is supposed to actually express mercy in this case. Okay, I'm gonna tell you a short 30-second story. There was a war back in the days when Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, our prophet, was the leader, and they got a bunch of hostages. The primary purpose of that war was nothing to do with hostages. These were just like bonus. Okay, we got a bunch of hostages. And so the companions were split because some of them said, we need to kill the hostages that we took to show something, because they were a very weak, small army. They were like, to show that you can't just start a war randomly with us, try to kill a bunch of our people, and nothing will happen. We need to kill these people to send a message. And then another half of them were saying, no, 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 we have to have mercy. Let's ransom them off. And Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, being a very merciful person, said, come on, guys, we'll have mercy. Next thing you know, a verse got revealed that said, God has forgiven you for your choice, meaning he made a mistake. What's the explanation? When you are a tinier army, you're supposed to show strength, because if you show mercy, all it's going to look like is weakness, and also that you want material. Like, for example, the ransom. They were going to get money back. So it's going to look like you were ready to go weaker just for the sake of money. But on the flip side, if you are the stronger army, you are supposed to exert mercy, which Muhammad also did by releasing hundreds of people after almost capturing them. They just begged for mercy at the last moment. He was like, okay. And yeah. So yeah, that Islamic component of basically Israel exerting some level of mercy to try to chop the hostage negotiations, that's non-existent. They're trying not to make this work. The bigger party always has to try and exert more effort into trying to make things work. The third thing that they're missing is simple international law. Okay, what do I mean by this? I mean that the non-negotiables on both sides should be bound in international law so that the other side is finds it easier to accept that. For example, if me and you, yes, person in the street, me and you got into a fight, and we essentially are we both committed a crime against each other. And I say, as recompense for doing, and I say a very specific thing, um, that in international law is written as you're not allowed to do, or criminal law, whatever it would be. If that's written, and I say, I want the standard currency from that, then that would be rational. But if I say, I want 100 lollipops because of something that was not actually grounded in law, I'm probably going to lose that case. Anyways, that was the wrap up for today. Have a nice day.